Donald J. Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act before Monday. And you don't need to take it from the horse's mouth. You could take it from Donald. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in a once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, if you don't know what the Insurrection Act is, I'm going to explain it for you. There is a law called Posse Comitatus. Okay, now the Posse Comitatus Act, it means that military personnel cannot perform law enforcement. Okay, that's not their job. We have police for that. The Posse Comitatus Act can only be overruled through the invocation of the Insurrection Act of 1807. The Insurrection Act of 1807 gives the president the ability to deploy the United States military in the U.S. mainland. That means the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, even fucking Space Force. And now we have, we're going to cover this too, Congress no longer has the ability to declare war. J.D. Vance voted that down. So now the Fuhrer, Donald Trump, unilaterally by himself can declare war. So if he invoked the Insurrection Act, he could then declare war on all protesters in the United States, and he could order the U.S. military to shoot to kill. Now, reminder, the overwhelming majority of the United States military is wildly uneducated, and they don't know that they are contractually obligated to refuse illegal orders. What that means is the majority of the military will follow orders no matter what the order is. It doesn't matter what the order is. Yes, there are some of them who will not follow illegal orders, but that is not the majority, okay? So other than that, we're going to cover that. We're bombing Iran. We're bombing Iran. We just evacuated all of our personnel from Iran, from Qatar, from any of the immediate areas. Israel did the exact same thing. And Benjamin Netanyahu, he has fled Israel and moved to Greece. Now, Netanyahu has fled to Greece twice before. Both times we bombed Iran. Okay? He's trying to keep himself safe from retaliation. At the same time, the Iranians said that the next bullet won't miss in regards to Trump. So they're saying that they're going to assassinate Trump. Granted, at the same time, we said we're going to assassinate the Ayatollah. So I don't know what to tell you there. And then I got a whole bunch of footage of the ICE cruelty. Yeah, we got a lot to cover. If you're new here, hi, how are you? Give me back my frames. Thank you. If you're new here, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. What you're watching is the Valenti VOD. If you don't know who I am, I'm a dirtbag leftist, okay? I'm a socialist. I fucking hate fascists, okay? So if you do want to support this channel financially, please do. I don't have any sponsors. I don't do ad reads. I've never had a conversation with a billionaire or a government or any of that shit, and I'm very proud to do so because you need to know that what I'm telling you is genuine truth. You need to know that what I'm telling you is actually what I fucking believe, and that I'm not being paid by some fucking corporate lobbyist somewhere to not criticize this or to criticize that because of the money I'm making. So if you want to support this channel, you can. You could buy merch like the posters behind me or the Constitusi mug. You can click the thanks button down below to tip me directly. You can click the join button down below to become a member for $5, and you can donate to the channel on Patreon. Thank you so much for 140,000 subscribers. We hit that this morning. Very, very proud of that. I'm trying to hit 1 million subs by the end of the year. So do me a favor. If you don't want to support me financially, click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. That shit costs you fucking nothing, and it helps me immensely. All right, and without further ado, I think we just jump right into the shits. So, we also have another one here. This is some straight up bullshit, but what did he say here? Fox News, Iranian protesters will no longer be sentenced to death after President Trump's warning. Likewise, others. This is good news, and hopefully it will continue. So, Trump wants to go to war with the entire fucking planet, and he's demanding that he is demanding that Iran stops killing its protesters. Meanwhile, here in the United States of America, we have a masked private slave catching group that is killing protesters. So the irony is not lost on me. On top of that, the Trump DOJ has asked 43 states for the voting records. Now, this is because the final election of U.S. history is coming up. That is the 2026 midterms. And what Trump's plan is, and this is not facetious, Trump's plan is to publicize the voting records and then use his private Gestapo, the slave catchers, ICE. He's going to use them to arrest and detain anybody and everybody who did not vote for him in swing states. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will prevent you from voting in November by arresting you. Now, this goes into with the NSPM 7 designation, where they change the designation of a terrorist, right? Now, if you hold quote unquote anti-American values, you know what? Let me pull this up for you because I know it's going to be hard to believe. NSPM 7 designation. Let's pull this up for you. Here it is. Okay, so this is on the official whitehouse.gov. This is NSPM 7, which is National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7. So there's a lot of stuff here that will designate you as a domestic terrorist, but I think that we could just go through some of them here. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so let's just read this. There are common recurrent motivations and indica using this pattern of violent and terroristic activities under the umbrella of self-described anti-fascism. These movements, so essentially what they're saying is if you are anti-fascist, you are actually a terrorist, right? So let's see. These movements portray foundational American principles, support for law enforcement, border control as fascist to justify and encourage acts of violent revolution. This anti-fascist lie has become the organizing rallying cry used by domestic terrorists to wage a violent assault against democratic institutions, constitutional rights, fundamental American liberties, yada, 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 fucking yada. So where is the list of stuff where it claims if you hold anti-American values or, you know, like basic anti-Christian values? I wonder if I could find that anywhere. Let's see. Maybe it's here. Is this it? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it for you, but you've probably seen it before. You should look it up. The NSPM 7 designation, it says that anybody who holds anti-American values or, they don't hold traditional American values, you are officially a domestic terrorist. That is the stance of the United States government. So, officials ask 43 states for sensitive details as critics fear effort to sow doubt about the midterm election results. The Justice Department is undertaking an unprecedented effort to collect sensitive voter information about tens of millions of Americans. Hold on, $10 donation. No, you probably don't care about this, but in West Virginia, the law enforcement is literally cooperating with ICE. It's not West Virginia. That's over the entire country. There is no city or state in the United States of America where the police are siding with the people. They are all siding with ICE. This is because all cops are bastards. All right. The department has asked 43 states for their comprehensive information on voters, including the last 4 digits of their social security numbers, full dates of birth and addresses, according to the Brennan Center for Justice. 8 states have voluntarily turned over this information. That is absolutely horrifying. That is absolutely fucking horrifying. So who provided the lists? So if you live in one of these pink states, I'm going to read it to you. If you live in one of these states, all of your information private information has been handed to the fascist regime, including who you voted for. So if you live in Arkansas, Kansas, Mississippi, Texas, Indiana, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? There are attack helicopters flying by me, headed to Manhattan right now. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? There is a squad of 4 attack helicopters headed to Manhattan. What? 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 Okay, I'm doing something. So I'll fucking figure that out later. Okay, all right. So anyway, if you live in these 8 states, all of your information was just handed to the fascists. Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. If you live in any of these 8 states, you are going to be arrested before you can vote in November. They will prevent you from, unless you voted for Donald Trump. So wait, let me rephrase this. If you live in these 8 states and you do not support Donald Trump, you will be arrested and they will prevent you from voting. Okay? Call me a fearmonger all you fucking want. I am the only one willing to ring the alarm bells. Y'all motherfuckers call me a fucking fearmonger until you realize I've been Chicken Little and the sky actually is fucking falling. All right, moving on. U.S. personnel evacuated from Qatar base amid Iran tensions. The U.S. has ordered the evacuation of some personnel from its largest base in the Middle East as President Donald Trump weighs strikes against the Islamic regime in Iran. The move echoes similar actions last year in the run-up to the joint U.S.-Israeli air and missile strikes in the Iranian nuclear program sites. But a U.S. defense official cautioned this evacuation was a precautionary step as Tehran struggles with mass anti-government protests. No, they're lying. What is happening is we are going to bomb Iran, probably in the next 72 hours. And the Iranian response, obviously, will be to punish any Americans in the region, bomb any American air bases, round up American operatives embedded in Iran. So the government is now warning Americans in the area to get the actual fuck out of the region. I'm from Arkansas here, so I'm going to if you're from Arkansas and you didn't vote for Donald Trump, they will prevent you from voting in the 2026 midterms. That is the plan. Okay? A former U.S. official familiar with the situation said aircraft had also been moved. The current and former officials were granted anonymity to discuss a sensitive national security issue. This is bad. This is absolutely horrifying. So yesterday, it was reported that 2,000 people were dead in Iran, and I told you can multiply that number by 10 to get the more realistic number. And as usual, I'm fucking correct. Over 12,000 feared dead after Iran protests as video shows bodies lining up at the morgue. So CBS on Tuesdays reported that at least 12,000 and as many as 20,000 people have been killed. Take that number, multiply it by 2. Okay, so I'm telling you around 40,000 people have been killed in Iran already. Now, don't get me wrong. The Iranian people have all the right. It's all justified to protest. They live under a theocratic Islamic fascist regime. I believe it's a Shia regime. They're like very, very brutal over there, right? But at the same time, there are CIA operatives and Mossad agents embedded in Iran, stoking the flames of this civil war, trying to create regime change so that the Greater Israel Project can begin. Israel's expansion. They don't just want Palestine. They also want Jordan. They want Syria. They want Iraq. They want Afghanistan. They want all of these fucking places. That is the plan. That is why there's 2 reasons why Trump is allied with Netanyahu. One, Mossad gathered intelligence videos of Donald Trump fucking children because he's a sex trafficking pedophile. That was gathered through Jeffrey Epstein, and that intelligence was sold to the Russians, the Chinese, and the Israelis. Now, the second reason why Trump is so allied with Putin is because, Netanyahu, is because all of Israel's actions are directly aligned with the United States Defense Department. All of it. We want this. We are a sphere of influence. We want to expand our sphere of influence. Israel is the 51st state of the United States. If they expand their sphere of influence in the Middle East, that's ours. We are the same exact country. That's not a joke. Like, America and Israel are the exact same country. Israel is it's a base. Israel is an American base. That's the reality. It is a base for the American military. The IDF is a branch of the American military. Israel is America. You can debate me all you fucking want. I will literally never jump off that fucking hill. Anyway, let's keep on moving here. So here's Trump saying that we are absolutely bombing Iran.
We've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping.
No, it hasn't.
And there's no plan for executions or executions.
False.
So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset. But that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped.
That's not true at all.
That the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution.
Yeah, so Trump is using this as a prerequisite for us to bomb Iran. Trump says Iran is stopping its killing of protesters as the U.S. moves troops. Non-essential personnel were moved from the Al Udeid air base. So this is exactly what I was telling you about earlier. Trump says that he feels obligated to take action on Iran as the regime weighs risks of retaliation. I'm out of free articles on CNN. Suck my fucking dick, Cock News Network. That's what you are, Cock News Network. Hi, Beans. Anyway, so as I read in the beginning, Trump is threatening to use the Insurrection Act to deploy troops in Minnesota to put an end to the protests. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The same way that the CIA shot and killed Charlie Kirk in order to get the right wing into a frenzy, the CIA is going to cap one of their own ICE agents. Okay? And then they're going to blame that on left-wing terrorists, and they're going to put a curfew in Minnesota. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Okay? Hate me all you want. Call me fearmonger. I don't care. You're going to come right back here when I'm right. An ICE agent will be popped, okay, most likely by the CIA. And then they are going to use that to invoke the Insurrection Act, claim that every single protester is a domestic terrorist, put a curfew up, and say anybody who steps foot outside after 9 p.m. is a terrorist, shoot to kill. That is what they will do, okay? Fucking cope, mauled, seethe all you want. Come back here in a couple of days when I'm correct. President Trump on Thursday threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, allowing him to deploy troops as protests against immigration and custom enforcement persisted in Minneapolis. An ICE officer shot a Venezuelan national. Of course he's from Venezuela. Of course. They're not even talking about Rene Good. The ICE Nazis,